When I picked the color palette, I realized it just kind of looks like a hamburger. Like,
I didn't even check it out there. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, but I think it looks very appetizing.
Mountain Purse. Is it Betsy Johnson?
This is Life in Art. I'm Dawn Okoro, and I'm an artist. Right now, I am prepping for the opening of Meow in Houston. The name of the exhibition is Radio Tave, and it's a permanent exhibition, and I am one of about 50 Texas artists with work in the show. I got my own room to create an installation, and it's something that I've been working on for about a year and a half. I think it would be great to offer some merch based on my art, and that's something I'm working on right now as we get closer to the opening date of the show. I'll be sure to let you know when and where they're available. I've done most of my part for the art exhibition. There's still a couple of pieces of the puzzle that need to be put in place, like the lighting. So I'm going to be working with the lighting designers at Meow to get just the right light for my artwork. I don't get out of the studio and out of the house as much as I should, and I'm working on that. I did get out of the studio recently to go to a show at Women in Their Work.
All right, I'm headed to Women in Their Work. It's here in downtown Austin. I have one piece there showing, and there are about 150 pieces total by a bunch of different artists, and a part of the proceeds will go to help Women in Their Work's children's programs. So here we go.
It was the Red Dot Art Spree. I was showing one piece. I did a video explaining a little bit about my piece, but it was a small drawing with watercolor and colored pencils. At the show, they had, I think, at least 150 pieces by various artists. They were up for auction. When it comes to art shows and things like that, I always get nervous at first, going in. I'm just not the best at like socializing. I'm awkward. So I go into the show and I find a place to kind of stand around outside in the patio, and it was kind of humid, so I was standing right by the fan and I had my drink. Someone came up to me and introduced themselves, and their name is Mai, and they are a co-owner of a gallery here in Austin, and it's called Shed Shows. So the gallery is literally in a shed in central Austin. The shed was something that they had renovated and found a purpose for, and so it's a place where artists can come and show their work. And they really want to highlight artists who often don't get the opportunity to show. So I think that's a great thing for Austin. I was reading one of the reviews for the Shed Shows, and someone said that it reminded them of old Austin, just that DIY spirit and just that fun and an experimental, playful side of Austin. So I think it's really, really a great thing. So if you're an artist in Austin, be sure to check out Shed Shows. They're on Instagram. And then I ran into some familiar faces at the show. Michael Anthony Garcia is someone that's really respected in the Austin art community.
This piece is El Corazón en la Manga, which means the heart on your sleeve. And it's textiles taken from synthetic fiber clothing, which I melt with a soldering tool, and then I layer that on top of other fabrics.
Wow.
And then I write a poem, which I then put onto the piece with a stencil that I create with my own handwriting. And so I really consider them more poems than paintings. I'm not a painter, even though they contain paint.
And then Michael introduced me to an artist that I hadn't met before, but I had seen her work around town, and I also saw her work at the Meow and Grapevine, so it was cool to finally get to meet in person.
This piece is called Fly Trap and a Face. The fly trap is actually based on real fly traps, but I kind of stylized it a lot. When I came up with this stylization, I was thinking about, I want to paint cactus, but I don't want to just paint cactus for cactus' sake, because cactus is like a symbol of our region, but it's so overused, and I just want to come up with my own version. And I wanted to come up with a plant that is feminine, not a flower, but kind of have some of those visual notes to it, but it's at the same time spiky and kind of a little fierce, their Venus flytrap is, so it's all these word association that you might have with it. And when I picked the color palette, I realized it just kind of looks like a hamburger.
I didn't even check it out there. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, but I think it looks very appetizing.
It does.
Very attractive color scheme. Also, obviously, have a vagina in there.
Now I'm trying to find my piece, so I'm going to walk around until I find it.
trying to find my piece just to see, where it was situated, and I wanted to take a picture of it while it was on the wall. And then I eventually found it there on the wall, and I was excited to see that it had sold. So I'm just really glad that someone is going to be taking this piece home, and it will no longer be sitting in an envelope in my studio. And while I was taking some pictures of my work, I saw another piece, and it had these figures, and so I was really interested in that piece, and I was taking pictures of it. And then someone came up and introduced themselves to me. Her name is Barbara Felix. She's the artist of this piece that I was looking at.
It's called La Paloma Negra, the Black Dove. It's inspired by, it's actually a still portrait. My face is on the men and the women, but the bodies are not mine. I appropriate bodies of dancers, professional dancers.
Oh, wow.
And I put my face on the men and the women. And it's, Bailando con mi misma is dancing with myself.
Wow.
That's what the series is.
Barbara also has a solo show coming up soon at Women in Their Work. So I'm definitely going to go check that out. I'm just really excited to see what she's going to do.
I loved her purse. Is it Betsy Johnson? That's so cute.
And I could have just stayed home and not even gone to this show, but I'm so glad I went. And I got to meet a couple of new people who I didn't expect to meet. I also went out recently to check out the work of one of my favorite Austin-based artists. I'm going to tell you about Kell Brown. I actually did this portrait of Kell and his twin brother Josh. Kell is the one with the hat on. I first met Kell during the Austin studio tour in 2016. I was showing my art with another artist, Beth Concetta-Rubel, and we'll have to do a video about her. But she is awesome. You should definitely check out her stuff. I'll put a link to her work in the description box. East Austin Studio Tour is a thing where Austin artists can open up their studio at the same time and just invite the public to come by and go studio to studio, looking at art, checking out art, buying work, and just mingling with the public. 2016 was my first time doing East Austin Studio Tour, and it was so much fun. This was a time when I was just getting back into showing my artwork. I wanted art to be a part of my life again, and this East Austin Studio Tour was a big part of ramping up for that. Kell is one of the artists that stopped by to check out the show. He walked in and Beth introduced him to me, and we all chatted for a little bit, and I just got a really good vibe from Kell, like a really good creative vibe. And at the time it was a small group of us, and we were just hanging out, chatting. There was a boombox there, and Kell connected to the boombox with his Bluetooth, and he started playing some music. And I was listening to it, and this music just sounded really good. And it reminded me of a new take on Jay Dilla's music. I remember asking somebody, what are we listening to? Like these are just some really good hip hop beats, good instrumentals. And then I learned that it was Josh Brown who made the beats, and Josh Brown is Kell's twin brother. Kell and Josh lived and worked together, so Kell would be in the studio making paintings, and then Josh would be nearby making beats, and so they kind of worked together in this sort of symbiotic way. Back then, I was working as a journalist at a local TV news station, and so I went back and pitched Kell and his brother as a story, and the story got accepted, and the interview aired on TV in Austin. Oh, and when I interviewed Kell and Josh, I was seeing all these paintings that Kell was working on, and I wanted to buy some work, so I bought 2 small paintings from Kell, and I have one of them here. Trying to avoid this glare. Kell does abstract work, and the marks he makes almost look like something from a strange language. This piece is called Book of Changes, and it was done in 2016. And then I went and did a portrait of Kell and Josh for my Punk Noir solo show because I appreciated the unapologetic way that they lived and presented themselves. And I felt that it was really important that they be represented in this Austin show. I remember it was kind of hard to catch up with them, so it would have been cool to photograph them together, but I ended up photographing them separately. And I didn't bring them into the studio or anything. Like, I just caught them when I caught them. I just snapped the photos real quick, caught them outside, and that was that. They were cool with me doing a painting, and so I just went and got to work in my studio. I named this portrait Word is Bond because Kell and Josh Both worked together and inspired each other, and the show had a punk feel, and punk is parallel to hip hop. Word is bond is a phrase that is often used in hip hop to denote accountability and respect. I did the letters in copperleaf because of the energy that copper carries. To this day, I still get a lot of questions and interest in this painting, and it's just one that people really tend to gravitate towards. A while back, I heard Kell was doing a piece inside a pool at the Carver Museum in Austin. It used to be a neighborhood swimming pool, but it got decommissioned years ago, and it just sat empty for a really long time. I remember it was right before Juneteenth, and it was a super hot day, and I walked into the area behind the Carver Museum where the pool was, and there was Kell just painting away. He was trying to finish this mural ahead of the Juneteenth celebrations.
Came out here like 5 in the morning yesterday. That was refreshing because there's no sun, you know.
Was there enough light to see, or was the sun wasn't? Do you have like lights out here or what?
Yeah, I brought a work lamp with me.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What is the concept behind this this painting here for this pool? To me, when I see it, it feels like the water, really, you know, and so you can just like step in and walk around.
Yeah, exactly. Like I took that into consideration. It was like freehanded, so I didn't really think about it too much, but that was my thing. That's why I put like kind of the squiggles in there.
Yeah.
This kind of represent waves and whatnot.
The Carver Museum is a cultural gathering place for kids and families.
And it's done.
Yay! And I think people really enjoyed seeing this new mural in the pool. Over the years, I got to know a little bit more about Kell as an artist.
The hardest part is like that @ symbol. I have such trouble like painting that. I don't know why. Probably just overthinking it.
He says that he values his uncompromising vision in his life and art. I learned that Kell was doing a window exhibition at ICOSA at Canopy in Austin. ICOSA is an artist-run program. Kell has been showing his work consistently for years. He says this project was a little bit different for him, and so was that creative process. And he's had his work on Law and Order and on beer cans and all kinds of things. If you come to Austin, you can find Kell's murals, and I'm just looking forward to seeing what he does next. Thanks so much for watching. If you'd like to support, be sure to like and subscribe, follow me on social media, and tell a friend.